Good morning. It's Thursday, October 27th. Today's reading will be Luke chapters 22 through 24. Now notice here when we get to about, by verse 3, Satan enters into Judas Iscariot. That's the same thing that's going to happen in the midpoint of tribulation. Satan will enter into the first beast, who we call the Antichrist. So then they prepare the Passover. There's an argument that's been made. Our church is, we're not necessarily open communion, but we're not closed. I guess maybe labeled close. I'm not sure what people would say there. Frankly, don't care what the label is. But here, Judas was present at the Lord's Supper. That is clear. I made that argument with a guy who was telling us we were wrong for, having the Lord's Supper how we were, and he decided to argue this, but it's plain as day from all the Gospels that Judas was there. Jesus served the Lord's Supper to Judas. Now, I'm not saying that we should knowingly serve the Lord's Supper to somebody who's lost, but the Bible talks about in 1 Corinthians 11, each man's to examine himself. Here the disciples waited until this conversation, this time, to have the conversation of who's going to be the greatest. Great timing. Now, I've made the point, several times in the Garden of Gethsemane, that's also in John chapter 17, we find that Jesus was praying for us, for his disciples, and for himself. And also when he was asking for the cup to pass, he was not asking that the whole crucifixion thing would pass, but that what was happening to him in the present would pass. And I think that's evidenced here in verse 42. Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. And the next verse, and there appeared unto him an angel from heaven, strengthening him. And the cup that he wanted to pass was staying alive until the crucifixion. He was in agony at this point, even until death. Because remember, his soul was an offering as well, not just his body. Peter denies the Lord. Then the Lord looks at him. See here in the next chapter, Pilate and Herod end up friends over this. We don't want to make friends over causes like this. Pilate's trying his best to get out of this, but if you read some history surrounding the time, he was pretty close to losing his job because of Jewish insurrection. So the pressure was on. Verse 38 on the cross says the King of the Jews. We just covered this. They knew he was the son of David. Verse 43 says the thief on the cross. Today you'll be with me in paradise. Remember, paradise at this point is down, and we've covered this a lot of times. Jesus doesn't ascend to the Father until after the resurrection. And so when they rest on the Sabbath day according to the commandment, remember that is the regular Sabbath day, but also Passover, which would have been Friday. So Jesus' crucifixion was on Thursday. Here we have the story of the resurrection. Jesus getting on their cases a little bit, walking with them on the road, explaining the Old Testament and pointing to him. And so then here he goes as far as Bethany and then the ascension. All right, start with John tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Have a great day.